I bleed for my money, day in and day out. I try to give you the things you deserve, but I'm just a college dropout who gives his weeks to break the mean, falls in the tide line, is washed out to sea. When I see the sunshine coming, I can feel you in my veins. As I feel the day close, I get to see you once again. I try every night to make the dawn never come, as if I weren't a worker that must rise with the sun. To me that means nothing. You can't be rich and fucked in one. Rather live with pride, die with my hands at my sides. When I see my ship is coming, I will escort you on board. We'll dance on the top deck till our days are no more. They may call me a bounder, but I got heart, babe, you'll see. I'm a man of my word, and on my word I'll make you free. When I see the sunshine coming, I can feel you in my veins. But as I feel the day close, I get to hold you once again. Oh yeah.
I think I must have stolen the end of that song from The Great Satchmo, where at the end, it's a wonderful world, he goes, oh yeah. I'm pretty sure I ripped that off. But I don't think anyone's going to care since my song hasn't sold any copies in the history of my entire lifetime. It will only become famous posthumously, unfortunately. You know, going live is something that I've done for the last, gosh, it's almost been 10 years now. I got the notification on YouTube that I've had a YouTube channel for 14 years, which seems unreal to me and to many of the people that have watched my YouTube channel all these years. They cannot believe it's lasted this long, and I share the disbelief with all of you. I hope everybody out there is doing okay there today. I wanted to start something a little different. I don't know, maybe I go back to the last few years. It seems like a few years ago, if you go back, you'll see that there were a ton of different HVAC guys out there doing HVAC live stuff. I like to think that I invented it. It's not true, but I like to think that. And everyone was having like a real good time with that. I had shop talk or HVAC shop talk going along with, Ralph and then Greaves, and it's just a mix of a whole lot of different stuff. And it was relatively successful for a long period of time. But for some reason, well, I know the reasons why, it's just a variety of things, that the last couple of years, I feel like I'm on a different planet, or a different entire era than that. It happens, I guess. The thing is, when you go through your life and you get older, you always say, well, here I am. I can now predict what's going on in my life. This is what's going to happen, and I'm used to it now. But it's a funny thing about God in your life that you never know what's going to happen next. 5 years later is different no matter if you're 5 years old, 25 years old, or 55 years old. It's always going to be changing. It's always going to throw things in the way and then give you rewards that you don't know are coming. I don't know what it was, whether it was the death of my sister or the suicide attempt from my family member, but something just changed in me 2 or 3 years ago, and I can't explain it. And I feel like I'm a different person than I was before that, and I can't tell you why that happened. Or, you could say, well, this event caused it to happen. A lot of people's had events in their life like that. But what caused it to happen? But why it does happen, I don't know. I don't know why it happens. All I know is you have very little power over it. I thought when I was younger that you controlled a lot of your life. You had the ability to change things and do whatever you wanted. I don't think that's true to the same degree. I believe you can change things. I mean, you can choose whether or not you, get drunk every morning or don't, stuff like that. But certain things are going to happen, and they're going to alter you emotionally, mentally, and physically that you can't predict and you can't prevent. I always used to say when something happened to someone around me that was something they regretted, maybe a bad decision, I say, there's only one way things are going to be, and that's the way they are. And you can't change that. So once you get to that point, there's nothing you can do about that. It's just nuts, because I think about it like this. Why is it that the last few years have been so different and things have changed so much when there's plenty of life-altering events that occurred before that? I mean, there's the birth of all my children. There's my house was burned down twice, and it wasn't my fault either time. No matter what the comments say. That's a joke. It wasn't my fault. There's electrical issues on both fires. But that's pretty awful stuff. Pretty awful things have happened. Great things have happened. I don't know why certain events lead to certain things. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's getting older. Recently, a friend of mine, a viewer that's been with this show since way back in the day, I found out that she is terminally ill. And I took it poorly, to say the least, because it was almost like it symbolized everything from the past. And it's just, hearing about that, it broke my heart. I won't be, I'm not too proud to say, I was telling my wife, and I just started to cry for some reason. I don't know what it was. It just bothered me so much that, there's a few different reasons it bothers me. One reason is I want to just, I want her to live forever, of course. The next reason is I'm a Christian guy. I want to tell her all about the stuff that I know that I think will help her, but she's not receptive to that. And it hurts because, as Christians, people like Christians are good, but people who aren't Christian may think they're annoying or or bad or whatever they think of them, are wrong. But if you're a Christian and you believe you have this secret to life and eternal life, and you don't tell somebody, that's awful, right? That's horrible to not tell them. So it's such a conflict here. I want to be here for her, and because I love her so much. She's great, and I want to make sure that whenever the time comes that she's in the best possible place, and I hope that she knows that I just want her to be in a good spot. And don't hate me too much for having to bring stuff up like that every now and then. I hope that she doesn't. I don't think she does. There's been a lot of great people through the years. I can still remember the first commenter on any of my videos, Kenji. I remember you, very first comment I ever got on YouTube. And it made such a difference to me. All that encouragement. And, start getting subscribers and you start getting bigger. I remember for a while I was like, the biggest guy, subscriber-wise, in my group of buddies. And that meant I was the king of the group. And it was kind of fun being the king of the group. And that lasted for a little while. Then there was this other guy who came along. His name was Steve Lav. And he passed me like I was sitting still. And he's got one of the biggest channels as far as HVAC stuff. Insane. And boy, he puts the work in. And the result is, that's where he's at. He's far ahead. I don't know where he's at now, but he's pretty far ahead, I'm sure. Even from where he was before. He's like 10 times as big as I am. Does that bother me? Not really. He deserves it. It's great. Obviously, I'm not as consistent as I have been in the past. So, we're all deserving of where we are, whether that's good or bad. But we can work on that. That's the good thing about that. So here it is 14 years later, and I've taken Shop Talk from 2017 as a podcast. I changed it a few times, changed it again, because life has changed. And I keep trying to fight it over and over again, but it has changed. 2017, I started the podcast. We had family sicknesses and stuff like that continued to rise up. Rebelling against that, trying to continue on the same course when it wasn't possible. Stay in the field, be a service technician. That's what I'm supposed to be for the rest of my life. I knew it. I was supposed to be an HVAC service technician until I just fell over dead. Fell in my veto bag and died. But it wasn't meant to be that way. So here I was podcasting about HVAC, but I wasn't actually doing HVAC. And if you're a guy like me, eventually that's going to eat through you. Because I can't sit here and talk about something and not be part of it. It's like you're a poser or something like that. You're just a pretender. I don't like people like that. I don't like that because I think of like salesmen or something. A salesman can talk about how many SEER an air conditioner is, but they can't install one. So I don't respect them. I know sales is a trade by itself, sort of. I don't think of it that way. I think if you can fix something, that's good. If you talk about something, that's just wasting time, to me. Especially since it's BS half of the crap anyway. Like, people don't clean their stuff anyway, so it's about 10 SEER after a year. That's just the truth, I guess. So I've had that podcast. It's the 8th year. It'll be the 8th year for Shop Talk. I've changed it a few times. I've changed it again. I call it Zach's Shop Talk now because I want to talk about more stuff than just HVAC. I can't just talk about HVAC all the time. I'm not even into HVAC trade physically, so it feels stupid to me to sit here and talk about it when what I prized about the trade is getting my hands dirty and being in the thick of it. And if I'm not in the thick of it, I have to expand out from that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. People will tell me all the live long day, no, you can become a teacher. I've had people say this. Become a teacher. Yeah, right, by the way. Become a teacher, trainer, stuff like that. It's just not me. It's not who I am. And I can't be that. I can't force myself to be that because it just doesn't work that way. You're living every day, and there's always something. It's like having something on your conscience. It's always something there that's digging into you no matter how hard you try. Can I not change? I guess not. I don't know if people are just like that, or maybe I'm just defective. God knows it's got to be defective in some way. God, I mean, wouldn't have got here otherwise. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. We're all a little bit defective, though. I can handle that. But, speaking of, I do still have sponsors because I've been talking HVAC for almost 8 years, and these guys have been my sponsor for almost 8 years. So I'll see you in just a second. Actually, I have to voice the ad. It's Yellow Jacket. YellowJacket.com. They have wonderful tools. When you have a sponsor, sometimes it's like, hey, this guy's a sponsor, but I've never used their stuff. That's a bunch of crap. Yellow Jacket is awesome. Their tools are great. Digital gauges, the hoses, the fittings, the shutoff valves, everything they have has been tried and true for the last 70-some years. It's Yellow Jacket, YellowJacket.com. Check them out and become part of the Yellow Jacket family. I don't know if that's an official thing, the Yellow Jacket family, but you can have Yellow Jacket, say you're part of the family. It's America. No one can stop you. If you're not in America, sorry, I hope you have no restrictive speech laws. I don't know. So that brings us here to the present. So for the last few years, I have been doing a variety of activities. I podcast. You guys have seen me. You guys have heard me. I've been on YouTube, And for a lot of you, you know that I do a lot of stuff with like power tools and tools. I have a tool shop that I have, which is, it's like a booth. I like this big place that has a whole bunch of booths. And mine is, for a long time, it was one little corner booth. It's 10 by 10, but now it's double the size. And it's got a bunch of vintage tools and power tools. And I get to work with the tools here, building stuff, just for those sort of places. I built all the walls, built all the tables. I built stuff for my wife. She has a furniture and clothes booth, among other things. I repair all the furniture. I don't know if you can see some in the background here, but you can see, well, hold on. You can see some dressers back there. Those I didn't do. I had to repair those. And there's one I did, but you can't see it. What a bunch of junk. You can't see the one thing I did do. But I do a lot of stuff, shop work like that. I test a lot of tools. I have a channel that just tests tools. And it's had some success. In fact, it's had more success than Shop Talk had. I guess because there's more power tool users out there than HVAC guys. But I always loved doing that. I love tools. Ever since I was old enough to use a tool. I mean, I started in the trades when I was 14 in the summertime. We worked full-time in the summer, part-time during the school year. When I went to college, I did go to college just for a little while. Worked during the day then, too. I'd get out of class at like noon and then go work with my dad. For those of you who don't know, 2009 I opened my own company, Town and Country Air. For about 10 years it was in operation. Closed it down after that because COVID hit. I was going to restart the whole thing, but COVID hit, so it kind of killed that. Kind of solidified, hey, you're not part of this anymore, time to move on, sort of thing. So I test tools, I sell tools, I repair tools, which is fun too, and I restore the hand tools, which is a lot of fun. I think you just reach a certain age, I don't know if it's 45 or what, where you start talking about the Civil War and World War II, and you say it's gonna rain today and stuff like that, and then you like to repair hand tools. That's just part of it, I guess. I'm looking at a wall of sockets that you guys can't see. I wonder if I can spin this thing around. Well, if this breaks or something, I'm sorry. Here we go. Whee! Wow, God! Look at that. That's a wall of sockets. I'm matching up. Those are all USA Craftsman right there. What right here is the S&K impact sockets. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. There's a whole bunch of them. Hey, look, Proto. Proto's good stuff. Let me spin around here. I love that stuff, man. I love working on that stuff. So I'm glad I'm where I am now. Of course, I spent 25 years doing HVAC. So I wanted to create a place, a podcast, YouTube channel. I could talk HVAC, but I don't have to have a gun to my head and talk HVAC all the time. And that's the freedom that I needed. I can talk about sockets, I can talk about tools, talk about HVAC. Hell, we talk about electrical. We can talk about plumbing if it gets bad enough, okay? Plumbing. That's just where your doo-doos go. That's all that is. Sorry. So, I just always heard that, you know, we joke around on a job site. How hard is it to be a plumber? Water runs downhill, you know. That's what we used to say, and the plumbers were like, hey man, that's not nice. And we're like, hey, you know what? Shut up. And then we'd all fight, because that's what tradesmen were like. And then someone would drill a hole through a duct, and then we'd cut their PVC pipe with our Sawzall. And that would be a good day. Alright, I do have one more sponsor here, guys. It is supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com, you guys can go there and find, let's see, read it on the screen there. Plumbing, heating, HVAC, electrical, PEX fittings, valves, tools, all sorts of stuff for all sorts of different activities. You can't find it locally, which is a big deal if you're out there in the middle of nowhere. Supplyhouse.com, they can find it for you. And it says, are you a pro? Join the free Trademaster program and enjoy lower prices. Most of you guys are pros. Go join the program, man. Join the program. But, alright, well, I have to wind down now. I wanted to get on here and start this thing because, like, every day something happens. I take my son to school. I pick up my son from school because my wife doesn't drive. She can't drive medically. So taking people to school, bringing them home, taking them to doctor's appointments and stuff like that, it is a war to work. You would not believe how difficult that can be when you are ready to work and can't. You want to do it 100% ready to get your family out of being poor and impoverished, which is where I like to stay, and earn some money, and then there's a roadblock everywhere you go. Well, I tell you what, just be ready to work, because eventually you're going to bust through that roadblock and you're going to have a famous podcast and everything's going to be fine. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You're going to hear the same music that you heard at the beginning. This is just so I can touch base with you guys. It's been so long. It's going to get real here, I think. I think it's going to get real. We're not going to go over defrost failures. I'm not going to talk about which end your meter is supposed to plug into, but we're going to get into the real of trades, into the real of shop, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm Zach. This is Zach's Shop Talk. I'm going to play the same song, so I hope you liked it the first time. I'm out of here. God bless all of you. See you on the next one.
I bleed for my money, day in and day out. I try to give you the things you deserve, but I'm just a college dropout who gives his weeks to break the mean, falls in the tide line, is washed out to sea. When I see the sunshine coming, I feel the day close, I get to see you once again. I try every night to make the dawn never come, as if I weren't a worker that must rise with the sun. To me that means nothing. You can't be rich and fucked in one. Rather